Everyone, welcome to our session on customer service excellence. I'm your facilitator for this morning's session. My name is Shawn Callender, and I'll be taking you through what I believe to be one of the most important aspects of business, how we deal with customers. Now, everybody in here is quite familiar with customers and how we deal with customers, so it won't be my session alone. I expect you to take part, to get involved, ask questions, challenge me as much as possible, challenge each other as much as possible. All I hope is that we respect each other's opinions and each other's views. So everybody has a right to say it, and everybody has a right to say what they have to say, and we will respect each other. Correct? Right. And I expect you to take part. Now, we're streaming live this morning. That's why I asked you to come and fill in the seats to the front. So therefore, we encourage the persons who are live, they can ask questions, and we will try to answer the questions in the session as well. All right? Any questions for me before we start? You know where the bathrooms are and all these things? Okay, so then you could tell me where they are. Huh? Yeah. Since you know, you could tell me, because I may not know, don't worry. And the temperature, we are now adjusting the temperature so it will not be too hot in the room. All right? It's too cold?
No, it's good.
It's good? Yeah. That's from where you're sitting. From where I'm standing, it's hot.
Oh, no.
From where I'm standing, it's extremely hot. Huh? Is it like from the projector? I standing here, like so hot. So we just try just a little bit so that I won't perspire too much. All right. Now, this is the information I hope. I think this was up for the whole week, so you know how you can get in touch with the Trust Loan Fund. And I just want a brief introduction from everyone, just to get an idea of who's in the room. All right. Nothing that's sensitive, so don't think you can pass out. Just want to know your name and the area of business that you're in. That's good? Yeah. Just the name and the area of business. You don't need to stand, but you need to speak loudly so that everybody can hear, all right? So let's start at the back. Pardon? One-ton calendar. And the area of business?
Online and retail sales.
Online and retail sales. Please don't make me say next all the time.
Fishing.
Teriyaki, that baking. Management Latin, online.
William Clark Farming.
Suleiman Bakaria.
We're going here though. Right here at the back.
Tequila Carbon, Happy Kids Party Supplies.
Right here.
Trace Demographic, Retail.
The first site ground.
Anthony Moore Farming.
You know I can't hear you, right?
Good morning.
I can't hear it at all. I know you don't talk, that's all.
You're technician and repair the waiters and boss and shopkeeper. Right, Robert, in San Diego.
Captain Lane, Food and Catering.
Suleiman Bakaria. Up Wall Street Spring. Suleiman Bakaria.
I got that.
Up Wall Street.
Up Wall Street, okay.
Jerry Callender and skating.
Red Night Market Advertising.
I share the year one. Shopkeeper. Sorry. The Lord's back on fish later.
Sierra Aline Farming.
Jeff Austin, merchandising.
Alana Brathwaite, Cosmetic Retail.
Jamal Griffith, fish processing.
Madonna Reese, Food Products and Services. Trisha Laura Cummins, Manufacturing. Sharon Boyce, Stanley, Cozy Corner.
David Carter, salon equipment.
Francesca Carnibert, Cleaning, Driving School. Coconut oil.
Okay.
Shanice Ford, online retail.
All righty. All right. Well, good morning. Nice to meet you again. And for those who came in late, my name is Shawn Callender. We'll be looking at customer service excellence. So let's look at the objectives for today's session. Anybody needs paper to write on? There will be copies of the presentation, but those are being printed right now. So if you need to make copies, you need paper. Anybody need paper? Anybody else?
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So let's look at the objectives, 4 main objectives for this morning's session. One, to define customer service, identify who is a customer. 2, to highlight the factors that impact positively or negatively on customer service. 3, to discuss the importance of utilizing social media to enhance your service. And 4, to provide tips on how to resolve service problems with success. And as I said, this is an interactive session, so I expect that you will share with me your information, your knowledge about customer service. It's a very topical topic, so I expect that you will get involved and we will share together. Now, here's what I want you to do for me to begin the session. I want you to rate customer service in this island. On the wait now, when you get your rating scale yet? On a scale of 1 to 10. Now wait now. Right, 1 being excellent. No, sorry. 1 being poor and 10 being excellent. Now here's the thing. We're putting both together. We're rating both public and private together. We're just rating service in general. So we generalize it across the board. So you're not separating. There are no minus anything and no point nothing of nothing. Whole numbers only. 1 being poor, 10 being excellent. I want you to rate service in this island. And we're going to start right here.
1.
I wish you say your number loud enough so people in back can hear.
Depends on where you go.
Okay, I give it a 5.
Wait, how you move from 1 to 5?
Sorry, yeah, but seriously is. I read that. Oh, yeah.
5. Okay. I hear cell phone. Can you do me a favor? Cell phones. If you have a cell phone, can you put it on silent or vibrate for me, please? No? Thank you very, very much so that we don't disturb the other persons in the room. So put your cell phone on silent or vibrate. If your cell phone doesn't go on silent or vibrate, give it to me, and I will guarantee you it will go on silent or vibrate for a very long time. So therefore, silent or vibrate, please. Thank you. If you need to take a call at any time, please do, but on the outside of the room so you don't interrupt what's going on the inside of the room. All right? So you said 5.
3.
The exceptions.
No. I just want number. Just one number. No comments. Number.
1.
Okay.
4. 4.
Okay.
6.
6. Right here.
I say about 6.
3.
Yeah, it's a
6.
5. 4.
Lady, that rating. 3. 1. 5. 7. Okay, good. That's what I want now. All the persons that give service a 1, let me see your hands. 1s. Why you give it a 1?
Because I have to work with you.
I just want to know why you give it a 1. Just tell me why you give service. Why you give service a 1?
Both public and private, I've had bad experiences. When I go into a building, I expect that you tell me what is that y'all are offering, everything in detail. So they have to go in and they have to ask, okay, so what time, what is this, what is that? So, and they are very unmanly.
They are very unmanly. Okay, so most of the people you deal with are unmanly. Over here, who gave it a 1? Why 1?
Usually it's not about me. You're just you don't get that the person is, you're getting that the person understands the value of me. So you just get anything. You could go, you could come, you could go, we don't care.
Exactly.
So that don't work for me.
Okay, and right here?
Pretty much what I'm saying.
I forget, it got short memory, so she's on. As far as they say gone, so you're gonna help me, you're gonna refresh my brain, come tell me.
right. Like, you don't feel appreciated in most places. They don't seem to value the fact that as a customer you're supporting the business. So you can't just treat people like any old and still expect that they're going to continue spending money with you.
Okay. The 7s. Let me see who gave it a 7. Okay, just 2 people. So tell me why 7.
Most places that we do usually go and actually try and get the service or good comments or retain information back from anybody. It's good to me.
Okay.
Me, I believe in my approach towards people when it goes to them first, and I get a good service, so I appreciate it.
Okay, but if I was to add the scores together and do a quick math, I would say that we average around 4.5 to 5 as an average in this room. So it's telling me that 50% of the times that you go to do business in Barbados, about 50% of the times, so 5 of the times, 50%, you get service that is not acceptable. Is that good enough?
No.
It's not. So why you keep spending your money with them?
No, I don't want to.
You don't have a choice.
All right, you don't have a choice. Okay. You don't have a choice. Certain places don't have a choice, but once you have a choice, you don't go back. Okay. Now, question. Since we know this, what exactly is customer service though?
First thing they want to the purchase a purchase material and they don't got it there at the time and they tell me, well, I can wait for the bond tomorrow, contract 9 o'clock, when I get 9 o'clock, I expect to see the material at 9 o'clock.
Okay, so customer service is all about having timely service. Anybody else, what exactly is customer service? Oh, wait, her hand was up first. Huh? Tell me. You got to speak a lot louder.
I believe that customer service is the way you treat customers in terms of actual service and moral of interacting with customers.
Okay. Wait, his hand was up, but he was speaking before. You'll get your hand up. Yes, tell me.
Delivering of service or good to the best of your ability and making the customer feel very appreciative.
Okay, let's hear yours.
I would say delivering the highest level of whatever service you're offering.
Okay, good. So, I mean, y'all know this thing. Y'all want to swap? Let me come there. Y'all teach me? Oh, okay. All right, so what is customer service? Exactly what you said. It's a function of how, and some keywords, of how well an organization or an individual can constantly and consistently exceed the customer's expectations. Now, the issue is that is very important is that it must be consistent. Now, we know that sometimes we go and do business in Barbados and the consistency is a problem. You go on Monday, you get Monday morning treatment. You may go Monday morning treatment. It's like, you know, people really and truly don't like working on Mondays. You go on Tuesday, you get a service that's more excellent. On Wednesday, it's pretty okay. Thursday it starts to drop. You know, Fridays that we don't like working on Fridays either. So it tends to fall off. So the service goes up and down and down and up. That's not what customer service is about. Is that it's consistency across the board. And it's about exceeding the need of the customer. Not just meeting, but it's exceeding the need of the customer that's important. You don't just want to meet the need of the customer. You want to exceed. You want to add value to the experience. So, here's my question for you. What are some of the needs of your customers?
Efficient service.
Efficient service is one. Okay.
Qualification.
Huh?
Quality work.
Quality work is the next one. Timely service. Huh? A pleasant attitude. Now, that one, what's a pleasant attitude? Yeah.
One that causes engagement.
One that causes engaging the customer.
Right.
Anything else? What exactly is presentation of the product or service? Anything that the customer, you think the customer needs from you?
Respect. In mind, mutual respect.
Respect.
Your honesty and trust. Flexibility, like opening times or delivery times outside the norm sometimes.
Flexibility, being open outside of the norm. Okay. Any other needs that the customer may have? Honesty and integrity from the service provider. Okay. Anything else?
Mine is friendliness.
Huh?
Friendliness.
Friendliness.
Because of
huh?
The service provider must not lose the sale.
The service provider must not lose it. That's on the service provider part. But I want to know what's the need of the customer. The customer ain't interested in losing the sale. The customer is interested in getting what? Huh? Understanding. But I ain't hear one thing that the customer really wants. You ever hear about, thank you, a reasonable price?
Reasonable price.
Or in business terms, they want cheap. So as a service provider, you must be aware that the customer wants it as cheap as possible. Or some of them are so unreasonable they want it free. But you just list a whole set of needs that the customers have. My question to you is this, and this is something you got to reflect on when you leave here, is can I meet these needs? Can I provide timely service consistently, meaning every single day, on every delivery? Can I be honest with my customers consistently? Yes, sir? Can I be friendly and mannerly and all these things? Even when I'm having a bad day, or things are happening in my life that I don't like, even when I get a horn, can I get up there and treat the customer with the same level of friendliness? Yes, sir? Especially if the boy you serving look just like the boy that horn you. You see, I be real with this saying, these things happen. Can you roll out to bed in the morning and provide the same level of service when you are going through stuff? Because one thing that we must be aware of is that the customer expects these things from you in spite of what you're going through.
But even though some of the same customers come with the same concerns to go through.
But you see, but that's part of the business. That's part of the business. One thing I want you to note is this, that everybody in this room right now are my customers. But when this session is done, I might become yours. You understand? So the thing about customer service is this, that we are always both. Sometimes we're customers and sometimes we're service providers. Question to you is, the excuses that you give as a service provider, do you take when you're the customer?
Yes.
I need you to know answer, because inside the training room, everybody's become honest and know everything the right to do. But think about it. Think about it. Alright, driver don't drive fast on the road. Oh, he doesn't? Okay. No, according to his own standard. So the point is this. The point is this. If you complain at establishments for things, then when the customer comes to you as a service provider and they give you the same excuse that you just gave 5 minutes ago, you should be alright with it. But is that the way we are?
No. Humans as well.
Huh?
No.
So here's one thing I want you to write down. Treat the customer the way you want to be treated. Now, writing it is one thing. Practicing it on a consistent daily basis is a totally different scenario. So treat the customer, I get you now, treat the customer the way you want to be treated. Don't just write it on paper, start practicing it from this evening when you get back to work. Yes, sir? We can get to that soon. So, here's the thing. So whatever you expect as a customer, please give to the customer as a service provider. And that makes life a lot more interesting, doesn't it? And a lot more difficult. Because the excuses don't always cut it. So who's a customer? Definition of a customer: person or persons that receives or consumes products or services and has the ability to choose between different products and suppliers. And one of the things missing from this definition is also a person who pays for your service. Because if the individual is constantly not paying for your service, those are customers that you don't need. And you probably need to give them to somebody else. As a special favor, transfer them to somebody else. Because you can't stay in business unless people are paying for the service. And I know people like to trust. But you know what? They don't go to courts and massy and trust. So you better do it on higher purchase and credit. And then you're going to get security, grammar, and you're going to get all kinds of things to get it. But they come to you and they want trust from you. You need to be careful how much people you're going to allow to trust. My thing is trust in God.
Because when you go to Matthew, of course, you're being paid for the product up front. But other survival providers. So they're not losing anything.
And if they, and when you're on hire purchase, it's really not trusted, because if you go past 3 months or so, you pay a little interest on it and stuff like that.
The course is paid up front. While you're on hire purchasing, the course is already being paid full for the dock.
That's another thing. So be careful when you allow people to come and want your services for free. Because you are in, let me ask you a question. Why are you in business?
Profit.
To make money, right? So if I constantly come and get your things for free, what are you making? Huh?
Nothing.
Okay, so be careful. Now let's look at these statements. I want to get your opinion on these statements. The customer is king or queen. And we're talking in the context of service. Is that so? Do you agree?
Yeah.
Do you agree? Is the customer king or queen?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I see some people with a face. I don't know if it's big. So I can do it by vote. Let me see by a raise of hands. All those who agree that the customer is king or queen, let me see your hands.
Yeah.
All those who agree that the customer is king or queen, let me see your hands. Half here? So it's less than half the people in the room. So less than half of the people don't agree? All right, let me ask another question then. Who pays you? Huh? And if there are no customers, there's no business. Correct? If there's no people coming in and consuming your products or service, then there's no need for you. So in the context of, we're talking not in the context of dominion and rule, but in context of service, the customer or the thing is really the king or the queen. Now, how does a king or queen want to be treated?
Like royalty.
Like, you see people always tell me like royalty. What is royalty?
Special.
I break it down. They want to be treated special. They want to be acknowledged. What else? They want to be respected. What else? They want to be feared. To be feared. Or to be treated fairly. Anything else? Because we're talking about royal treatment, and I hear royal words yet. What else? Huh? They want to bite the bow down. Not necessarily bow down. Not necessarily bow down. But let me ask a question. What about prompt service? I mean, it's really so if the queen is sitting down for dinner at 7 o'clock, she expects her food to be on the table by 7, correct? Correct. Not 7:01. By Barbados, we will give it at 7:01. I wonder why she's so miserable. It's only a minute and 1 day. She can drink some of the water, right? Our thing is this: it's only a minute. It's only a minute. Why is this person behaving the way they're behaving? It's only a minute. They had to wait too long. But if you're thinking about, they want their thing prompt delivery of service, and it must be of a high quality and standard. I would think if you eat at Buckingham Palace, you expect the food to taste better than any other food you've eaten before. You expect the place to be so clean that you don't see or even think that dirt was ever there. Yep. Things in place consistently. Suppose you were to visit Buckingham Palace and you saw dirty place, everywhere you walk dirty, things out of place, the soldiers that are on duty dress and look musty and all these things, you will kind of be disappointed. And you wouldn't think that that service fit for a king. What about your establishments when people come in? When people come into your establishment, what do they see? Because that, well, I mean the ones that do have, and sometimes the establishment is you. Sometimes the establishment is you. What are they seeing? How is they saying? Is it clean? Is it tidy? Is it organized? So those who dispense service, a product or whatever, is it organized? Can I walk into your establishment and find what I want with ease? Does it smell fresh? No, outside hot. Outside real hot. You understand? Do I come in there and it's hotter inside than it is outside? These are some of the things that you need to think about because you're dealing with people with high expectations when they have their money to spend. And service is not only about what you say, it's about how you present yourself, how you present your product or your service, and what your establishment looks like. Quality customer service is about adding value to the experience. That's what it's about, adding value to the experience. What value are you adding to the experience for the customer? That's how you exceed the expectation. So they don't only come looking for a product or a service, they come looking for added value. An environment in which that they're comfortable. If it's a place that I come to eat, I want it to be a place that I'm comfortable while I eat. Pardon? Right, exactly. Now let's look at another controversial statement. The customer is always right. Is this true?
No, they're not.
Technically, no.
Make them feel they are. They're not always.
I want you to repeat. I want you to repeat the statement that you just made.
They're not always right, but we make them feel they are.
Interesting. Interesting. Anybody believe the customer is always right?
No, but you should.
The customer is never right?
They got idea what they want.
Never? I see a hand. Shh. Let's hear. Let's hear.
I guess we would say they can't always be right. But if we look at it from the point of view that we make them think they're right, it helps us because then we are able to serve them better. That's how I see it.
Okay.
I think that could complicate things.
My customer, although I know.
Wait, just one session.
I know the person might not be right. I'm not going to argue the point. I'm just going to try to correct whatever and try to do some damage control or whatever. And the situation so the customer is feeling he or she is right. That's no problem for me. As long as I think I've done to salvage the situation and keep the customer happy. I'm fine if he goes along thinking he's all right.
Okay. Why you say the customer is never right?
I didn't know that was a strong word.
No, I asked what you said. What you said they're never right.
Because a lot of them, what I do, people come to me with an idea. The idea might be poor, and if I don't try to educate them, I always get stressed in it. The job might come up bad, and then it looks bad on me for put up crap work. You know what I mean?
You see, the thing is this. There are two words here that the word always is a very dangerous word to use, and always and never two dangerous words to use. Why? Because if I could find one example, it defines always. Always to me 100% of the times. Nobody's right 100% of the times. But then nobody's wrong 100% of the times as well. But, so the thing is this. The customer is not always right, but the customer has or deserves to receive exactly what you promised to produce. The customer has a right that whatever you promise, you will perform. That's what the customer has a right to. And wherever you promise something, you fail to perform it, the customer has a right to complain. And something that Barbadians need to add, and the right to a solution, which may mean a discount, which may mean a refund. Because we like to apologize and that's it. But you've inconvenienced me. You've inconvenienced me. Maybe it's that you delivered the product late and I had to go and buy from someone else. So an apology is not all I want. I might want more. So the customer has a right that what you've promised you can perform. Now here's the thing. As small business people, sometimes we promise what we cannot deliver. Because the dollar is far more important. And we know it's Christmas. And we know people can buy more around Christmas. And we don't want, miss out on the sale. But your capacity to produce is 10 units. And at Christmas you got 30 orders. But you know at your max you can only satisfy 10. But you take the 30. Then what happens? You have 20 dissatisfied customers. Okay, good. Pardon? Bad reviews. You understand? And at the end, what happens to your reputation as a service provider? It's tarnished. Just because you got greedy. What about thinking outside or innovatively and saying, well, you know what, since I got 30 orders, maybe there's a brother or sister I know that I can help, that I can pass on some of this work to in order to satisfy the customer. Or I can contract their services. Correct. I can contract their services so I still get a little something and they get a little something and the customer is satisfied and I retain the customer. What about doing that? Right. What about building a network of people that you know you can call on and trust that you can pass work on and still maintain that customer service relationship. What about that?
That's good.
Why do we always want to hold everything for ourselves? So we try to grab at 30, we disappoint 20, and you know some of those 20 are customers that are consistently our repeat customers. So we disappoint the repeat customer in the hope of getting new customers who may not stay. One of the things about your business is this: your business is based on repeat customers. Your growth and development is based on creating and maintaining a consistent customer base. You don't want to lose your repeat customers. These are the ones that keep you in business. So as much as possible, you do what is necessary to keep them.
But you're not presenting a challenge if you outsource the work and then the person who does the work for you.
It can, but here's what I'm saying. Remember, and this is what you need, as I said, building that network of people. You need to be able to verify that the work that the person is doing, or anybody you recommend, does a work of a quality standard like yourself. Now, it is possible at one time you may do that. I recognize that the person really and truly disappointed you as well, and you may apologize to the customer. You may lose that customer, but you know that's one provider that you will never use again. But most of the times I would not expect you to recommend to somebody a person who you know or you don't trust. Correct. That would not be smart. So somebody who maintains the quality standard that you are consistent with is the individual that you should recommend to persons and thereby keep the customer satisfied at the end of the day. Why do customers come to you? Ultimately for solutions. So we call it customer service, but it's really finding customer solutions. Customers come to you looking for a solution, not problems. That's why things like no and can't and impossible frustrates a customer. Because I come to you looking for a solution to my problem, to my hunger, and you telling me no and I can't. You have not satisfied my requirement. So when you tell a customer no, you should always have a solution for them, or a recommendation of how they can go somewhere else and find the service. But no without any sort of anything, it's just sounding like an excuse and it disappoints people. I have come looking for a solution from you. So you're really solution finders. I have a need and I hear you're the best person to satisfy my need. So how do I get that done? So think of yourself like that. That's why informing and keeping the customers constantly informed is a very good and a very important aspect of what you do and the service that you produce. So let's look at 7 sins of service. 7 things that we do that turns customers off. Sin number 1 that turns the customer off is apathy. Anybody know what apathy is?
Don't care. Yeah.
Pardon?
Oh, you don't care.
Say it loud enough.
You act like you do not care.
You act like you do not care. Have anybody come across this in Barbados? Yeah. Anybody at all come across don't care service providers? Pardon? You get that what? I didn't hear what you said. Huh? Oh, okay. So, apathy, one of the sins of service. Don't care service. Let's look at the next one. The brush off. What is this?
Ignore.
Huh? Pardon? Ignore. Anybody that brush off is ignore. Have we come across this recently as well? Where you have been ignored? My question, do you, pardon? Here where? In this building? Oh, right there. Okay, ignore. Now let me ask a question. Do you do this to your customers as well? For instance, Shawn is supposed to collect something from you at 10 o'clock. And you see you see your number, the phone come up, and you see Shawn's number at 9:45. And you're like, nah, boy, I can't answer that because I don't know I ain't going to be able to meet he for 10 o'clock. And you just ignore the call and say it will go to voicemail. Pardon?
Sometimes, right?
Sometimes the customer? Oh, you mean ignore you? Well, if they ain't got money?
Yes.
If they ain't got money?
That is one way in my business. I did. In my business, you come to me, you got to bring I did do a horse trade. When you bring a job to me, you got to bring material
and don't pay me.
And a deposit.
Correct.
Very good.
Yeah,
very good.
When work done,
very good. Yeah, you should set a standard that if it's something like that they do pay a down payment or a deposit. And as you go along the job, you keep acquiring some money so that by the time the end of the job, you would have recouped.
Bring anybody to pick down or anything wrong, that person money will be there.
Exactly. Because now you're going to be out.
Yeah.
What about coldness and condescension? Condescension is talking down to people. Like experts. You know, and you're talking to somebody who you perceive don't know. And you begin to talk to them in a manner like they're not very smart. And where did you study this again? I am the expert here. I have been doing this now for the last 20 years. How long have you been doing this? I have been doing this here, there, and everywhere. You think you know better than me how it should look?
Do it, sir.
You go find out that score, don't do it yourself. You're talking down to the individual because you think that you know more than they do. Some of the customers now are pretty well educated. YouTube has done a good job at doing that. Be careful when you think that they're not educated. I like to say even females. There are places females go and a man believes, you know, he know more about cars than any woman. The woman can ask for something, you're talking to the lady like she can never understand cars. When the woman top notch man cars, but because she's a woman, she don't know cars. It's insulting. It's insulting. Cars and plumbing and all these things, you decide the woman didn't know. That woman go on YouTube, she research it, and she knows exactly what she wants. So be careful. Then we got robotism. This happens a lot sometimes on telephones where people have a greeting and when you call the greeting but it has no feeling to it. You can tell they're just repeating what they read on the script. But there's no warmth or anything to it. They're just going through the motions. Be very careful of that when you're dispensing your service. Yes, you're tired. Look, customer service is hard. Don't get to it. It's real hard. Because you might have said something to 100 customers during the day. But the 101st customer, that's the first time for them. So while you've been saying it all over again, this is the first time for the customer. They expect to be treated like it's the first time for them, not that you're tired. You know, I tired saying it. She's on, but you know how many times we day had to say this here? I give him a break now. But the reality, this is the first time for me. Correct. So I expect that you say it like if it was the first time, the first person on the morning. And then we got the run around. Where you get transfer and transfer and transfer. So you gotta go and collect your money and you get transferred to this department and that department and the next department, or you're given a name. And you're told call and ask for this person. When you call, you get transferred that lunch, and that is 10 o'clock in the morning. Oh, you lunch already? So what time you can call back? Call back at 12, they're still at lunch, and then you get transferred in another department back, and you go all around the company and back to the receptionist. And then she's feeling for you, but she understands what's happening, so she transfers you again. And then to leave a message on the voicemail. Yes, tell me.
Right. It's not necessarily robotism, but as a teacher, I just want your opinion. You are saying, this is my one, but you are a repeat. And I'm saying the same thing over and over and over. Isn't there a place where I can show you I'm frustrated because you're not taken in? Or for example, I told you have to go home and do homework mentally. Right, go through what? But then when I come back and I ask you, you've told me you've done nothing. You're making my job harder. Can I express, like, I am the teacher here. If you don't do what I tell you to do, we are going to be in this place longer than we should.
No, yes, somebody was answering. Who was answering?
Say
what you're going to say.
just asking.
Say what you're going to say.
if dealing with service, now teaching now a child now is different.
No, I
because
know.
you just said
She teach driving.
It's teaching.
Right, teaching. Just asking if you
just
can
as
special
education, that's what you know that is part of your job description. So whatever it entails you to do, you have to take that time. Even if it's speaking to them or work out a system that you can get it over to them.
Wait, stop. I just remember we can respect each person's opinion. Yeah, I see your hands. Go ahead.
When the government services will be support.
Wait, we dealing with this situation first, though? What we dealing with her situation? We can come back to yours. Let's deal.
It's not the patients I'm talking about. I'm talking about where we talk about condescending or talking to them. I because of my position and you're not applying what I'm telling you. I want to be patient with you, but we're not progressing because I'm trying to tell you we are not progressing because you're not listening to me as the teacher and applying what I'm saying.
All right, let's hear it before you make a comment.
Oh, I see it, right? If we're providing you with a service, what I see it is, I'm giving you an apple. So I can come and tell you as the first customer for you, this apple is right. 3 or 4 customers down the line, I gotta tell them the same thing. This apple is right. With people, everybody's human. So like, if I come and tell you do your homework, and you choose not to do your homework, that's your choice. It's nothing I could do about it. But however, my right apple, the apple can always be right. There's nothing that changes. If she has a different student might take it in. And then might say, well, all right, yeah, I can do my homework today. You know what I'm saying? But the next person might say, he's a bad boy, I want to play block. No, because the fellas are going to block at the smart. But you understand? Go outside and party or whatever and come back home and get to do homework.
One of the things I tell you is a cliche, right? But it's not always what you say, it's how you say it. Right. And sometimes your tone and body language says a lot. I was watching her tone and body language when she was telling me that, and it was condescending.
Yes, I saw that.
It was condescending. So the words coming out of her mouth meant nothing to me. The words coming out of her mouth meant nothing to me. I ain't hearing a word because I'm coming across a level of I'm the teacher and I'm here. You're down here. Do what I tell you. So sometimes and we can talk about body language a little bit less. Sometimes the words that coming out of our mouth is interpreted differently because our body language and tone of voice is saying something different. Let me give it and that can create a problem because you don't have a mirror in front of you. And the more frustrated you get, guess what? Your body language picks it up. Your body language and your tone begins to. There was also a level of impatience in what she was saying. So while I'm telling you the right thing and it's coming over in the right way, in my opinion, there's some other things other than the words that are sending a different message to me. So then I tune out because I don't like the way you're behaving.
And then you might find
so although you think I am disobeying now, I am just protesting because you're behaving in a manner that I think is offensive.
Or listen to this here.
Wait. Lady had a hand before yours.
Alright, let me ask a question. I went into a police station yesterday. On entering the police station, I said, "Good afternoon, everyone." One of the constables on duty looks at me and said, "Little girl, you don't have no manners. You come in here, you see big people here, you just say hi." By assumption, it's a police station, and the persons may think service is not something you should expect from the officials that are supposed to look after you. But I very nicely looked at the other constable standing in front of me and said, "I apologize, sir. When I came in, what did I say?" Now, obviously, no, I have put him in a bad position because he has to go against his fellow officer and say, ma'am, you said good afternoon, everyone. No. My take on that was, I could have get on my high horse and get home back.
after the fact.
I could have humbled myself, which I did, and I apologized to the constable for not hearing me. And I said, Mom, I'm very sorry that you didn't hear me. Why? Every day, she gets hostile persons coming in, cursing at her. 2 young fellas in their teens, young teens, classic example. I don't know what her day was like. So was I to make it worse, or could I make it better? The point that I'm making is, we look at customers, and you said it before, we look at customers that come to us, the same way they don't know what's happening with us, we don't know what's happening with them. If you decide to take the line to be aggressive to them as they are with you, you're not going to get you. So take a breath, count to 10. Take a breath and count to 10, and probably you could see a better solution than the one that they're presenting to you. So that is my take. It doesn't always work. But we can go, we training here, we've been here together for the last 3 days, right? There is no such thing as a problem, it's just an obstacle. So that's the whole take on the whole customer service, because we at some point will be a customer. Yeah?
All right, thank you very much. Here, and then we can get your question in the back. All right, I forget you, don't look so.
I think there's a point between getting too personal in the sale and the sale.
Pardon? If it's too,
there's a point between personal between you and the customer in the sale.
You gotta give me a little bit more background, cause.
Or for example, say you're going somewhere, we can say you're going to pump.
You gotta use.
We can say you're going to pump gas, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can just say a tenant come to pump the gas, but the tenant say morning. But you just like in emotion, probably counting money or something like that. But you don't answer back. You in the mix you just say like $20, $50, $100 in gas, whatever. But the attendant don't move to pump the gas on Tuesday morning. That's the case that you're going to personally into.
You mean the attendant?
Yeah, the customer service going to personally into it, or the customer should actually return the favor and say morning. We not being manually or whatever.
I want you to hold that. We can hold that. We can get to that very, very shortly. That one we can get to. Very good point. But hold that. I can answer that later. Yes, let's hear yours.
Pertaining to the everyday business.
The mic.
Sorry. I was saying, like, pertaining to when you do business with big companies or government, and you are sending an invoice, how them is one, keep it like for 3 weeks compared to other companies. Say, well, go up in your system as a vendor, then your invoice got to be processed, and this is just be saying up on somebody's table. Like.
But the thing is, there are two things to that. Is it one that they're telling you the truth, and that it really has to be processed and all of these things? Or is it that it's just sitting there on somebody's table because the person who has to process it doesn't care? Remember we were talking about the saints? They don't care about the fact that there's somebody else who's waiting on this to get paid. So there's two things. It could be processed, or it could be an individual not understanding that somebody's actually waiting on this to get paid for their business to stay afloat. Remember, your turnaround time is far shorter than a bigger establishment. A bigger establishment could afford to wait longer than you can. And sometimes it's that the person who's dispensing the service, remember, doesn't care. It affects you personally because you need the money, but to them it's just a job. And I feel like doing it today. And that's the unfortunate part when it comes to service, that sometimes what we don't care about is life and death for another customer. And that's why I keep saying that treat the customer where you want to be treated. Because it may not be life and death for you, it might be a job that you hate. But to somebody else, it's their livelihood. So when you got to deliver, you might go and deliver something to a customer that you promised them at 10 o'clock. To you, it's like, if I get there 11 o'clock, they're going to wait. But to that customer, it might have been that they asked for 2 hours from their boss to stay home to get it. So when you come an hour later, they may be now going back into a job and go wonder if they have a job. But do you think about that part? Not really. And then you get upset when the person gets upset. When it's only an hour. But the reality is, you don't know what I had to do to even get the 2 hours. Or when you say, well, I'll meet you this evening at a particular time, you don't know what I had to go through to meet with you the evening that you failed to come. And they failed to call as well. You know, you failed to come, but you failed to call as well and let me know you're not coming. So you see, that's it. Yeah, it goes both ways. Right? Some people agree to meet you and don't turn up as well. But it's like a caring. But let's look at this video, and this video we can address the issue that you just brought up. I want you to look at this video for me, and then when we come back, we'll discuss some of the things that went wrong and how we could better this experience for the customer.
Sir, could we ask you a few questions about Ace? Ace Hardware? I doubt I'll go back. That was just a nightmare. Mind telling us what happened? I'm the customer, for crying out loud. They treated me like I was an intruder. I was just running an errand for my wife, gardening gloves, and bird feed. It shouldn't have been as hard as it was. I didn't know where that stuff was, so I needed help to find it, at least to be pointed in the right direction.
Do that? I'm not going to do that.
How do you do that?
What's for lunch? You didn't steal my money.
Your cat stole your money?
Yeah, if I leave my wallet out on the counter, he runs down to the basement with it. Yeah, I got back late from that concert last night. I was super hammered. I was running late. So.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so can I borrow the money? Could one of you tell me where I could find birdseed and gardening gloves? No, I'm sorry. I don't know. I gotta learn we sell here at some point, you know? I don't really. You want paint? Paint I can see is right over there.
No, just the gardening gloves.
Gardening? Yeah.
Someone else who could help me?
Oh, yeah, probably. Great. Oh, okay. All right. Well, hey, this was great.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Take it easy. Hey, wait up, guys.
Okay. Well, should I wait here?
Okay.
Well, long story short, I eventually found the stuff. No thanks to them. And on my way out, I remembered I wanted to pick up some deck stain.
Honey, no. I did not get into the cake. Okay? I know, for your mom's birthday. Yeah. No, well, you know who did it. Yeah, I don't care if he's only 1 year old. I those cabinets like a monkey. Nothing. An apple. Yeah. Oh, honey, I gotta go. They don't want us talking on the phone at work. Okay. Yeah, I'm hanging up now. Bye.
Is this the only waterproof stain you have? I have a deck I need to stain and seal before the fall.
Deck stain?
Yeah.
You need deck stain? Cool. Let me just respond to this real quick and then we'll take care of your stain, okay?
They didn't want to take care of me, so I figured I'd go somewhere else. So now, I just want to buy my wife's stuff and get out of there. But no.
Yeah, well, I get off at 6. Yeah, but I still have to go home and get showered and, get cleaned up and stuff. Give me your storage number.
Yeah, but I don't have my card with me. Can I give you my phone number and have you?
Yeah, we can do that. No, not you. Just pick me up at 7. Okay. What's the number?
555-1212.
Ace Hardware, hold please. Come on.
555-1212. Never again.
Okay. I hear a lot of comments. So, all right, you never see our service that poor. Let's go back to the very beginning. The very beginning.
I love the stage free.
What was right or what was wrong by how the service provider behaved at the very start?
Ignoring the customer.
The service providers were ignoring the customer. Okay, anything else? I can't hear.
Talking of personal business.
They were talking their personal, but wait, no, you don't want to talk, where they can get to talk one another. Okay, so they were talking their personal business, nothing to do with work. So they were ignoring the customer, talking personal business. What else? Wait, stop. Huh? So they were sitting on the product in the store. Let me hear what you said. Huh? So the man was looking to get $10. So the man was more hungry than anything else. All right. So watch. So some people were here to tell me they're using the terms now that we use already. They were ignoring and had to brush off. Okay. Now watch. What should have happened? One person. Just put it. Just one. What should have happened? One person.
They should have acknowledged that the customer was there.
They should have acknowledged that the customer was there.
Hi, Shawn, excuse me. MU 956 is in here.
MU 956.
No?
They should have acknowledged. How? But yes, tell me. Shh, excuse me. I want you all to pay attention, right? Because these things I want you to go back and start doing, or continue doing if you've been doing it before. Yes.
Stop the conversation. Greet the customer by saying good morning, good afternoon, and asking them how may help you.
And asking how may help you. Okay. Who should do that first? Should it be the customer or should it be the service provider? So who acknowledges who first? No. The service provider acknowledges the customer first at all times. Hello. This is at all times? Yes. Okay. Now remember my partner's here comment about the gas station and the individual who failed to acknowledge the customer at the particular time. And he wanted to know if it's being too personal by insisting.
If it's a point where you get too personal.
Right, if it's a point you get too
personal into a sale or into a customer.
Right.
At any point.
Right, here's one if you get too personal. But the issue is this, when it comes to greeting the customer, is nothing about personal or getting too personal into the sale.
Right, but the return, is it a point at the return?
He did not return. He said he did gas attendant did him unless he know the customer.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
They know if the customer's in a good mood or bad mood. I wonder if there's a point where you get too personal into the customer and the sale.
You mean to do what? To act?
Confrontation. Yeah. If there's a point where you get too personal into.
When you have the bad day.
No. But my point is this: as the service provider, you greet the customer. Whether the customer is, excuse me, as a service provider, you greet the customer. How the customer relates to you is their business, but it should not change how you relate to them. But in Barbados, we got this speak first theory. I don't know who came up with this mad theory that manners is about who speak first. So here's the point. If the customer fails to speak, we don't speak. Because we want to teach them manners. So we watch them and we say to, if we got somebody that says, you know that I ain't speaking to he or she until they speak. Like, excuse me, like the introduction yesterday with the policeman. The policeman sought them to teach her manners because she didn't speak. As opposed to recognizing that whether or not she speaks, you as the service provider has to begin the interaction by acknowledging the presence of the customer, putting away your distractions, and doing what business don't like to do. Speak first.
But what he's saying that the attendant said good morning to him. But in his sales compliment or whatever he was doing, he did not say good morning. He did not return good morning.
It doesn't matter.
That he wanted 20.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
But that's what he wants to know.
Right. But the point is, it does. Yes, it doesn't matter.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Exactly. It does not matter.
Then they move off
you see, one of the things is, excuse me, one of the things you need to understand is this. You have certain things that you need to do. One is acknowledge the customer. One is to greet the customer or whatever. How the customer responds to you is the customer's business. You continue to do what you're expected to do. What we do, we respond in the same way or the same like. So if they come to us and they're aggressive, we believe the best way is to get on aggressive like them.
That's some of the service we get.
Now watch this. Who is in control of the environment? Who pays you? When I leave with my money, you get nothing.
What about if the customer is overly rude?
We can get to that. Here. Wait. Just let him speak.
Well, I believe it does happen in everyday life, so it's become a habit. If I left home this week, 5 days a week, and I get on the road and I see some boy 5 days a week, and I say morning, and the boy don't say morning, don't say morning. The 6th day, I'm not going to say morning to you.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, wait.
But no, you don't. No.
This is
differentiate the two, your business and your personal life.
Now, I understand what I'm saying. Shh, excuse me. That's exactly the point. When you're delivering a service, excuse me, it's not about who you see and who you like and who you don't like and whether you speak to them 6 times in the day or not. You have to greet the customer. So if a customer comes into your establishment 20 times in one day, you have to greet them 20 times in the same way, whether they speak or not. It's not that you put up a mental picture you bring on Marley customer. Next time they come here, I ain't speaking to them. Which exactly which some service providers do. Some service providers got your mark in your mind, and they believe that, you know what, the next time he or she comes in here and be on Marley, they can get it. Or I ain't dealing with them. I wait. Let's hear.
They're going to course of pay bill. You guys going to the cashier and issue the bill. Here she, good morning. She don't want them to bill. So I tell she, well, I can't here to talk to you. I don't want to be your friend. That's kind of thing. Good morning.
Thank you.
Looking for a woman.
You see, now watch this. But wait, that's your hand. I said, now watch this though. He went to pay money that will help pay her. And because she said good morning and he did not respond with a good morning, she didn't say it.
People, they feel like they're in authority.
But you don't want to take money that will pay you? But something got to be wrong with the cashier.
Regardless of what people bring work when we workshop already, and the attitude of them when they work for they tell us to not bring back no more.
That's your choice. No, but that's your, excuse me, but that's your choice. As a service provider, you have the choice to choose whether or not you do business with some people. But that does not mean you have the right to treat people how you feel like.
I won't treat like curse them or nothing.
Right.
But like then when you got more work, just don't bring it.
Exactly. But that's you have the right to do that. But your hand was up.
I find that in Barbados we look to see good morning, good afternoon, good evening. But when you travel, most people greet you don't get a hi, hello, excuse me, how may I have service to you? You don't get good morning, good afternoon. And sometimes the greetings.
Wait, excuse me. Can we just have one person saying? Excuse me. Yeah, you were saying.
Right, and I kind of get to see what you were saying about good morning. Because it is only, preferably in the Caribbean, you get good morning or this kind of greeting. But I know in the States, you get, excuse me, can I help you? You don't get the good morning, good afternoon, like that.
It's a greeting.
Well, don't tell me because it depends. Because most of the places they go, people will greet you a good morning or good evening, whatever the time of the day.
But in the streets, right? I can be telling people more, even if the people don't speak.
Yeah, but here's what excuse me, morning. Here's what I want to establish. The issue is never about when you're a service provider. The issue is not about whether or not somebody speaks. I don't know. It seems that you can go into Barbados' head, take something and inject in their brain that tells them this speak first theory, I don't know who came up with it, does not apply to service and a provider. As a provider, you're providing a service. So whether the customer speaks to you first or don't speak to you or whatever, you are the one to begin the interaction.
You know what? Because you depend upon the customer.
Yes, let's hear. I can't hear well. Sorry, you gotta speak louder.
I said I understand what he's saying. Because I don't think that say you have to say good afternoon, good morning, good night to give good customer service. Correct. Because when they travel, sometimes if you walk into a fast food institution, they're going to say, hello sir, may I have you take your order?
But watch this. Thank you. I like what she said. Understand also the culture in which one is operated in. In our culture, we like people to address by a good morning or good evening.
You greet me good. I don't, and if you don't greet me good, I don't care to spend my money. That's the thing. So, and if you don't
Wait, excuse me. Just let her speak now. Thanks.
Best service you could, and if that's the same morning, even if that makes the customer feel good, but they don't say it back, you know you do the best you're supposed to do. That's all it is.
Right. So what she just said is very important because we have to first determine why we greet. What is the purpose of greeting?
That's our culture.
It's not just to say good morning, good morning, good morning. When you greet somebody, you're actually welcoming them, you're acknowledging them, you're telling them, hey, I know you're there and I'm glad you're here. That's the first interaction you have with the person. So when you don't do that first interaction, a lot of the stuff that you do after doesn't matter. So when we understand the purpose of greeting, then we'll see.
Repeat what you go ahead and then I get you to repeat what you just said.
Every bad experience that you have with the customer is going to take the 12 other good experiences to become that. And business is just suffer.
Say what you just said.
First impression does always come.
That's something that people don't realize. And there's a saying, you only get one chance to do it right. And understand this, as small business people, there's a perception in our environment about small business. There's a perception about the level of service you offer. There's a perception of what to expect. Don't give people what they expect. That's the thing, because they expect certain things to happen. They don't expect to be greeted. They don't expect to be treated with courtesy and all these things. They expect to be treated scruffy. And when you give them what they expect, they don't get surprised when they don't come back. And they're going to spend the money with somebody else or some established business where they're going to get a service that they are comfortable with. There's nothing wrong with you upping the thing. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you giving people listen, one of the ways you see the customer expectations by giving them what they don't expect. And you can get more customers coming in by just doing one simple thing, greeting them in a mannerly and respectful fashion. Because their expectation is not that. And when they come in and they get that, you have scored a lot of points with them. And you've taken your service to another level that will separate you from the person next to you that's selling the same thing. People will pay extra for a great service, especially in Barbados. They will pay a little bit more for great service. But this is the thing, we seem to have something in our brain that stops us from doing that. And we get hooked. That's what we get hooked. Hear and speak. Look on mine. These things. And you know what? We fail to do what we know we should do because of something out here. Because we know full well how we want to be greeted when we go to do business. We know full well we don't want to walk in a place and be ignored. Nobody likes to be ignored. No one. But yet we ignore people. Don't do it. All the others are saying is this. If the customer comes in and you can say good morning or good day or excuse me or hello, how can I help? Whatever you do, acknowledge the presence of another human being in your space that wasn't there before. That's all the customer wants. They just want to know that I am present. You're watching the video just now. These people did everything but acknowledge the man. And then one man, this is another thing. Service is also about giving me what I want, right? Service is about delivering what I want. Now the other man eventually did greet him, but did not even try to help. So here's another thing. You can do the greeting well. Excuse me. You can do the greeting well. You can got the best smile on your face. But if you're not able to meet my need or to give me a solution to my need, you still have not served me well. So he greeted afterwards, he smiled, he gave his name, he did all, he introduced himself. But then he could not help, nor could he point to somebody who could.
As an operator, something's going to pay for that call. One second, I ain't see the number. He was started on the phone, look, this person, get out of there. I get on the phone to put his number.
Oh, you shouldn't go up here, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Sometimes we get caught up, I think, in other things that prevent us from delivering what we know is expected. And one of these things is this Bajan thing that we have saying, who speaks first, and that just needs to stop. You're a service provider, you need to speak. You need to greet the customer, you need to acknowledge the customer. We got last shadow now. Whether the customer bark back at you, whether the customer don't speak back to you, whether the customer, whatever, at least you've done what is required.
But sometimes the customer may come in with you all the
Your hand is nice, I can get to you.
And you might have a kind word to them, and that changes their whole outlook for the day.
It is quite possible.
You have to let your kind words turn with their mannerisms someday.
And sometimes only a smile works.
Yes, true.
Sometimes you don't even go out and just smile. And that could pacify some people. Yes, your hand was up.
I also wanted to say that along with saying good morning, we should also maintain eye contact with the customer. It's like morning, or you talk to somebody else, morning. So it's not just saying good morning, it's how you do it as well. The body language, your eye contact, and the tone of voice and that kind of stuff.
Thank you very much. No, we still at the video. No, we only got the first part. we only got my first part with the greeting. Now, I want to move on quick. Let's look at the part with the cashier. Remember the part, the interaction with the cashier? Now, when he approached the cashier, she was on the telephone. What should she have done?
Put the call on hold.
Pardon? Say.
Call on hold or end it.
Put the call on hold. Why? Wait. But I watch this. Excuse me. But I only phone with a customer. But I only phone with a customer.
That's not customer. That's personal.
But no, if you don't know it was personal, what's that? The customer is paying me at present. I ask the person to hold on. Hello, but I on the phone with a customer. Just one person, please. What's that? I didn't hear. Okay, so who is the most important at that time? No, y'all got it wrong. You don't know who he was talking. I was talking. Here, the most important customer at that time is the customer who is physically present. It doesn't have anything to do with pain. It does not have anything to do with pain.
Okay, but the person that is right there.
The person that is physically present is the one that you need to interact. So you have here's the thing. You're talking me through this because I ain't got no skill. So I'm on the phone and a customer comes, then what? What do I do? But wait. So while I'm talking the phone, I can say, excuse me, sir. So first thing, I tell the person on the phone to hold. Now, here.
Because you speak in the person by phone first.
Wait, stop. You should do what?
Tell the person to hold on. You ask the person.
Thank you. Thank you. Here's the thing. Please hold is a question. Can you please hold is a question. We have made it into a statement. Please hold. And we don't wait for the response. The person may not be able to hold. So you would first have to ask them if they can please hold and wait for the response.
Correct.
Especially if they're on the cell phone, because they may not be able to be on the cell phone. And then, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The person who is before you takes precedent over the individual on the telephone. Why? Because the person that before you can see you. They don't know that this is a bigger sale to you. How would they know? How can I stand before you and watch you on the phone, ignoring me and know that this is a bigger sale? Furthermore, it doesn't matter to me. It makes me feel very inferior that because you think the person on the phone is a bigger sale, you ignore me because you don't know what I was going to spend, buddy.
What we're saying is,
you don't know what you're going to spend? You still don't know what you're going to spend?
Let the person on the phone let the customer there and ask them to hold as you see that.
Exactly.
You understand? Then you deal with who in front of you.
Always. You deal with the customer in front of you.
Can't deal with all two.
But some people do though. She did in the video. She dealt with both. In fact, she dealt with 3 customers in a row. And she's still on the phone chewing gum. Packing bag and patting it down because chewing gum, throwing away things. And she saying like she vexed and talking, but she was doing personal business, telling somebody when to pick them up. Yeah, sure, how was up? Tell me.
Okay, so, alright. So I would have situations where a customer will call on the phone to give me an order.
Right.
And while they're giving me an order, another customer will come to the counter with their already paid ticket in their hand, or to give me an order as well. So in a situation like that, what am I to do? Am I to take the same road as to ask the person on the phone, please to hold, even though we're in the middle of getting an order? Or do I ask the person at the counter to please to hold?
But how you can do that without telling the person on the phone, please hold? Because if you say to me, please hold, which customer I know who you're speaking to?
But that's what I'm saying.
So you speak to the one you're already online with. You basically ask them and then you deal with the customer in front of you.
So I made the choice then of, because I'm already taking an order from the person on the phone.
Can you please hold? And then you can go back. You can then go to this customer and tell the customer, I'm currently taking an order from this person on the phone, and you let them know so that they are informed that you're not just there talking and gossiping. Because remember, when you walk into a place, you see a person on the phone, let's be honest, people, be fair with me. Do you really think that they're doing business? Honestly, huh? Do you think they're doing business? What do you think that they're doing? Exactly. So unless you make me comfortable while I wait, and it happens in the bank as well. You go to a teller, the teller greets you and all of a sudden, and then they just walk away. You know, they don't tell you that they're going and get this done or whatever for you. You sit down to talk to you, and then all of a sudden you just see the get from the desk and go and walk away and left you there. You don't know what they're doing, why they're doing it, or whatever. The reality is, you should keep the customer informed as much as possible. That keeps them, communicate with them. That keeps the customer from feeling ignored or thinking this is a waste of time though. In fact, when you can come back, and what you going to do?
It also sets the tone for the waiting experience.
Thank you. And like we said here, it sets the tone for the waiting experience. So the issue is the person that comes before you, although you really and truly, the person on the line is important, but you have to acknowledge that individual before you because they need to be acknowledged within they want to be acknowledged as quickly as possible. Because they're thinking to themselves, well, maybe she on the phone gossiping or he talking to his friend and they ignore me. So they want to know that, you understand that that's not really what is happening. Yes?
So even something simple like, not necessarily telephone, but the person could be in the store or business or whatever, and you come in and they could be busy doing something urgent, but all you have to do is acknowledge you and say, well, just hold on a minute, I'll be right with you. But sometimes they just ignore you when you're standing up. You have to acknowledge you, say, I'll be right with you, coming back. But, that is something simple.
But you can't, right, another thing you can't do is control the customer's reaction or behavior. But you have done the right thing. They may still walk out the store and say, I went in there and she never acknowledged me. They might still do that. Everybody don't tell the truth. But the reality is you still got to know within yourself that you did all it is to satisfy that customer. There will be unreasonable customers that you can do nothing to satisfy them. But don't let that be your day. Because sometimes we allow one customer to offset our entire day. We had 19 or 10 good people, one bad. And we say, I had a real bad day today with the customers. Why? One customer came in there and cuss and get on real bad. So what about the other 10? Oh, they were okay. But you had a bad day? 10 sales, make a lot of money, one customer come and behave bad, and then spend saying, and that ruin your whole day? We need to focus a little bit more on the positives at times. So, at the end, one of the things about the video that was very important was that throughout the whole conversation though, what amazes me is that he bought something. That, it doesn't matter. The wife and mate. And that had to be the only place you could get these things from. So you mean the wife is a worse customer than the people? Oh, so the moral of the video is that I didn't know the wife. But the thing is this, he put himself through a whole heap of stress to get that product. And sometimes that's what we do though. There are some things we buy here that you can't get from nowhere else. But remember this, there's some places you have choice. And if people have to go through hills and valleys and jump through hoops to get your service, they will stop eventually. Remember that. He did say never again. And he did tell others about it, so who knows, maybe he did go back. All right, let's look at face-to-face communication. This was a study done in the US years ago. And it focused on face-to-face communication and it brought down percentages. It says that 55% of face-to-face communication, the interaction is based on body language. 35% is tone of voice, and 7% is the words used. You got that? Adds up to 100%. Now, look at it carefully and let sink in. 55 and 38 is 93. 93% of the interaction you have face-to-face isn't based on the words you speak. Remember earlier somebody was talking about words and stuff, and they were saying body language? Now body language and tone of voice says a lot more than your words. But do you concentrate on that? Do you spend time analyzing your tone of voice or body language? Have people been coming into your establishment and saying to you, I don't like dealing with you. I find you aggressive. And you saying to yourself, they're not aggressive about me though? Everybody like me? You're like, you miserable though? Huh? Have people been saying, I find that you greet me, but when you greet me, I feel kind of like wounded. You're telling me good morning, but something about the morning is sound good, but the way you greet me. Are you saying to yourself, well, I said good morning, what more you want me to say? You want me to say it with a smile? Because I had some people last week, had a young lady who said she don't smile for nobody. But the thing is this, at the end of the day, before you even approach me, I've made up my mind about you before you said a word. Because of your body language, and sometimes before you say, I just look at your body language, I say, I don't like the way I feel comfortable doing business with this individual. There's something about this individual that ain't working for me. And body language, I can extend that to mean dress. Your appearance as well. There's some people that will refuse to do business. You might be excellent in whatever you do, but they just don't like the way you present yourself. They don't like the way you present yourself. They're turned off by the way you present yourself. And they're uncomfortable in your presence. Some of you offer service, you got to come into a person's house. Now this Barbados has changed. The way you present yourself, I may not want to let you in because people got cameras. I see you put the camera, they call the police. Yeah, they're going to talk over here, so trying to rob me. You said, you're aware of this? Adding to that, it's things like hygiene, how you smell. You're dealing with the person, you realize that the distance between you and the person is getting further and further away. And you're wondering why are they backing up against the thing and trying to get away from you. And you don't understand, it's not because of anything you're doing, but you might have an order or your breath may not be as fresh as it should be. And they're a little bit uncomfortable in telling you need Colgate. These things impact on the service you deliver. And this is part of customer service. Presentation is part of customer service. And sometimes you are the presentation for your product or service. How you dress, how you present yourself, and then finally how you speak. But pay some attention to these things, especially tone of voice and especially on the telephone. There's some people when you call them on the telephone, it's brutal, boy. It is a brutal thing. The way they answer the phone is just like, wow. Wow. They answer the phone in such a way that you are scared and you want to put down. You're talking about government, but it ain't only government, private sector, small business people. Sometimes the way they answer the phone is like scary. And I want to say this to you because we can transition into telephone etiquette now. Something that's very, very important is that the telephone is an extension of your service and of your business. And how you answer the telephone, how you speak to people on the telephone is vastly important. How many persons here use their cell phone as their business phone? If you use your cell phone as your business phone, let me see your hands. Okay. Do you have a separate SIM card? Or do you use one SIM? Separate. How many persons have a separate SIM? Not all. Good. So to the ones that have a single SIM, how do you answer your phone when somebody calls you? The one that is using their personal number as their business number, how do you answer the phone when somebody calls you? Thank you. I'm glad I get on this one. Exactly, I'm glad I get on this one. Because sometimes you call, and this seems to be unfortunately a characteristic of calling certain. I hear people talk about government, to beat up government, to beat up the private sector. But you know what? Sometimes when you call small business people, it is scary because you call and, like my friend said, who's this? Wait. So the first thing you hear is who's this? But then it gets worse. Hello, it gets worse. How you get my number? So it's like wait. It's on WhatsApp or somebody give me. But you want to how you get my number? Now I'm saying to you, if you use your phone as your business, you should really answer the phone now by saying hello, this is Shawn, and call the name of the business. Because the point is, you are using this as a business phone. So if it was home in your house, you would answer, identify yourself and identify the business. The same thing has to be with your cell phone. Who's this and how you get this number turns people off. But wait, it gets worse. You call some of them and it never has money on it. At least when I'm honest, it never has on a cent. They got plans there, but some people don't plan to get a plan. So you calling this number all the time, and all you get is voicemail. Then the other thing is, sometimes you call from a landline and ask you for, listen, I don't want to take landline numbers calling back. Phone down in your ears. Don't take landline numbers. Don't call me from a landline. Or listen, don't call me from a landline. You know that business. The person that call you probably could give you sufficient money. You could buy a landline. You could buy enough now. You don't know. But all these things, and then you got the ones that's answered with a whisper like they're hiding from somebody. Hello. They sure talk. They should be police, ex-girl, nothing. They're frightened to answer. And all of a sudden you feel this chill go on your spine like, you know what, this is a shady thing. And answer the phone, all they say is. The next thing is this. If you advertise your business as being open 24 hours a day thing, they expect people to call you at any time.
Yeah.
So when they call you 2 o'clock in the morning, you can, why are you so-and-so they call me at 2 o'clock in the morning, though? You don't think I sleep?
Yesterday, man called me, not yesterday, the night before, man called me after 12 in the night time. A taxi man called me. Yeah, there's a man that's giving fish. I say, yeah. How you doing, fella? He said, he good. I hope I wake you up. I said, nah, man. I don't actually watch your TV. I said, nah, man. I don't up. He said, alright. So he want to order some fish and things. So I tell the order and I tell him no problem, we will continue tomorrow. He said, alright, thanks. I said, what I tell you?
But here's the thing. No, you see, you say it's business, right? But you also have a life. So here's the thing. If you advertise that I can get you at any time, then you need to anticipate that somebody might call you at any time. And the way you answer the phone has to be reflective of the fact that you go on telling people you're available anytime. As opposed to say, my opening hours are such and such. So that they know don't call outside of this. But here's the point. People will call you at any time if you say you open at any time. Or you never tell them. Why? People believe that small businesses operate when big business close.
Yes, that is true.
Weekends, bank holidays, that's what you're there for. Yeah, that's what you're there for. You operate when big business close. It's not a fair assessment, but sometimes that's what we do. You give the impression, for convenience sake, you can get me anytime. When in reality, you know that's not true. Why not tell the customer? Why not share that information with the customer? That's service. That's keeping them informed. So they don't call 2 o'clock in the morning. And then you pick your phone and cuss in there.
You have it near the still call at 2 o'clock.
Huh?
You have it 7 to 5 and still call at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, but then at 2 o'clock in the morning, you don't need, you know, you don't need to ask because that's outside the business hours. But the reality is this, sometimes you answer the phone in such a way that you turn off, and then there's some people who pass on your information as a reference, and then they tell you that when you call, please say that so-and-so tell you to call, because if you don't say that, they ain't going to talk to you. So you got to call and get in quick. Shawn tell me to call you, but and then you wonder why people aren't coming, and why they're going somewhere else. It's because of how they're being treated. Now, you can treat me like that and then expect me to pay you too? If you treat me like that, you gotta be paying me. Yes.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but here's the not. You say that you're open between this time and this time. But then there are customers that get irate because you don't answer your phone after that time.
And as I said, there are unreasonable people. But you should not set up your whole business and do things because of unreasonable people. That's your hours. And if they say that you know it's not true, then you move on. Because why? They complain about they will complain about calling somewhere like Massey too.
Correct. You call Massey after that.
They would say no, exactly.
Like boy can't close. They close, so why do I have to ask my phone? It's closed.
But that's your business. You have a right to set parameters for your business. And like somebody said before, you have a right to decide who your customers are and who your customers will not be. And they're not every single person that you want as a customer.
It's true.
There's some people that will be a bad, that when you get them as a customer, they will speak ill of you. And then there's some, as I talked about at the beginning, who will be trusting all the time and never spending. So telephone etiquette, let's look at that quickly. One, speak directly into the mouthpiece. Now I see people using a new form of talking to your cell phone. Up to yesterday, see a woman in a car doing it. Yeah. Oh man, yeah, what's going on? But you know that I hear you want to repeat that? Yeah. No. If you are frightened to get cancer, buy an earpiece. That's seriously, buy an earpiece. Because ain't fair, right? That I go sit on this you conversation. Well, I want to hear it. It's called a mobile phone. It should be personal, you know? And you hear, and watch this. You know when you person got to repeat? Because the move from here to here, they might say something, that's when you don't hear it. And each say, man, I get that, repeat that. Just buy earpiece. I see a woman in a car driving and she got a phone like this. I said, was she bold though? But it's illegal, but I mean, this should be even more illegal. because she's driving going phone here, so obviously you got to put it back here, concentrate. I say, okay, you got true, girl. I'm just saying. The reality of the situation is it's just back earpiece. It's more convenient for the person on the line. It's more convenient for people who are in the room with you who don't want to hear your conversation. Speak directly into the mouthpiece. 1, don't eat and chew while on a call. Why the telephone amplifies sound? That's why sometimes you can call somewhere and a conversation happening far off in the room sounds right near to you and you can hear every word. It amplifies sound. So chewing and gum and stuff sounds really, if you've had somebody do it in your ears, you would know how disgusting it is. It's really not, and it's quite possible that somebody can call you when you're eating. Well then, you eat the food, swallow fast then, and answer the call, Swallow hard, hope you don't choke. If you think you can choke, get some water quick, swallow thing, and answer the call, but don't answer the call while eating. The person doesn't know who you are. Don't assume, remember you're using your cell phone for business, don't assume that the people that call you are all friends. There might be business people who come across you by reference. This is the first time they're interacting with you. This makes a big difference to them. They hear you eating and chewing, probably not somebody you want to do business with. Get rid of the distractions before answering the call. That's very important. Distract anything that can keep you from concentrating on what the person is saying. Too often you call places, you leave a message and information, and then you never get a call back. Only to call back and the person say, oh, I'm real sorry, but I forgot to. Either I forgot to write down your name, or I forgot to write down your number, or I forgot to write down your time. Oh man, when you called me I was driving, and I had no time to record the information. Yeah, but you should have said that when you asked me to give you.
And you're give me a call back.
Yes, you should have said that instead of making me go through all of that, and then I don't see you and I gotta call you back. And then you tell me, yeah, I meant to call you back. Driving. I tell you, honestly speaking, I forget your number, boy. And then to say it with a smile, I was like, it was funny. Well, answering call within 2 rings. This is if you have it inside your house. We talked about this one, and also use the appropriate tone of voice is also important. Your tone of voice on the telephone is really, really important. That's why you can call somebody on the phone and you can tell what mood they're in, but you haven't met them. You can tell. And if you call somebody often enough, although you've never seen them in person, you can also tell what mood they're in, even easier. That's why you can say to them, but today you don't sound well. And I've said this to people, you can also hear a smile on the phone. You saw one? On the phone? Yes, Pastor, please. I am concerned about not being in this life, so you better not. The President of the United States is an amazing man. He's an amazing man. I mean, the things that he can do and things is just amazing and powerful. So use the appropriate tone of voice. I think that's very much the key. It's not what you say, it's how you say it that makes the difference. These are just copies of the presentation going around, so make sure you get one. All right, let's take a social media service. How many persons here use social media to advertise, to keep their customers informed? How many persons? Let me see your hands. I want to do a session when I see every hand go up. Still, I don't see every hand going up. I don't mean no pray up just because I say so. Social media is probably one of the most effective and efficient and technically free. It's not, I mean, the price that you pay is technically free compared to the price that you would pay to do an ad on radio, an ad on television, or whatever.
The other day I had to pay $50-some for the
50-something, yeah, Facebook is charging. Instagram charges a thing, but it's still not. Don't think about the spend, think about the reach. Excuse me, think about the reach that you get for that $50-something. That reach is not only local, it's regional and it's international as well. Same as Instagram. And think about the amount of information that you could transmit almost instantaneously to keep your customer base informed. What I keep saying this, one of the keys to effective service is information. The more informed your customers are, the better position they are to make informed decisions. Yes, tell me.
But some people advertise on social media and they don't put the product, but they don't put the pricing, the size or anything, and they will message them, who's this messaging me?
I can't get one started. What? I try to. Why are you in business to be secret?
I think people be doing that, right? I think they don't want to want the price. I think them is the auctioning.
Wait, the people that doing it is the auctioning? Oh, you hear that? The solution coming from the front is that really and truly is they're auctioning. So there is not one price. There's
precisely because when you put it to price somewhere else, we can kind of cut it. So
or you might be able to offer another price later.
But service thinking that they don't want the competitors to sit there.
All right, let say it loud enough to the rest get here. Because I heard this, excuse me. Like somebody said, sometimes people don't, and I hear, excuse me, can I ask a question? I want to ask you a question. If you go to one of the established stores, or they advertise online, don't they put a price? Not all the time, but most of the times they will have a price. I mean, some of their websites leave a lot to be desired. But the reality is this. If you put a price up and somebody undercuts you, as you saying, that might happen, but the customer does call, then it gives you the opportunity to negotiate as well. If you don't put a price, I may never call, because I might put my price, and then you would then say that your product is too expensive.
But say you go away now today, but your jeans.
Wait, your hand is up? I get, okay.
You buy your own navy jeans for $20.
Uh-huh.
So you can do your markup. The person, wait a couple days after you own navy have a sale, so then they come back now and can sell their jeans cheaper than the price you're selling yours at because they got a sale. So that's now going to come in to play now how you price your stuff.
So then you don't advertise the price?
That's like that.
So then you're putting the onus on me and saying that I can just call you to find out the price. You're making that assumption.
No, I'm saying that probably some people don't do the price thing.
All right, can I ask another question? Why is it synonymous with small business?
There's a kind of trickery.
Because the cutthroat thing.
Is it trickery now? Let's hear, your hand was up. Let's hear what you have to say. Excuse me. Let us speak.
Private. Sometimes the reason would be, I don't want so-and-so to know that I am business because this person don't like me and they may want to.
I've heard that before.
Exactly. I mean, why are you in business if your page is going to be private? Who's going to find you? Who's going to know what type of service that you're providing if your page is private? And if that is the reason that you don't have your page public, then you don't need to be in business. Because nobody can find you if you're losing customers that way.
Thank you. I'm glad I didn't have to say it. Yeah, you say it. Tell me.
I think that we should stop seeing small business as a hustle and say as a business.
I think we should stop calling it small. I think the word small is what causes the problem. Again, it's a cultural thing.
The same thing with the person is a hustle. Go and fee, I want 20, I drop out to 100, you drop it to 90, so you say,
right.
Okay, sure, keep any prices up.
But not only that, I wonder, the Fair Trading Commission does say that when you advertise a product, it should have the price. Yes. Doesn't that apply across the board? Yeah. It should. Okay, but it doesn't seem to. No. Let me explain to you. And this is the concern that some people have. You ask a man to come and give you a quote. He comes and he comes to your house, he does looks and he gives you a quote. The first day on the job, you go home, you're in there morning, boy, yo, this work is more work than I thought, yeah. There's a lot more work than I thought, yeah. I like it go up this money, cause I can't work for this thing. No, here's the point, right? Here's the point. What concerns me is that if you had got Co or somebody else that's saying to do that job, and they had done and find more work than whatever, either A, they will come back to you and negotiate before they start, or what they think they'll come and say, well, look, this look like or whatever, or B, they will go and just do the job as it is, because you give me a quote and cut your losses. But with a small man now, every day you go home, is another thing. And that price keeps inflating. By the time you're done, you would have paid out far more money than you intended to, and probably somebody else would have quoted a little bit higher that you ignored. Like you said, it's a hustle. So we treat the business like a hustle, like we're trying to, and this is the problem. Then people believe in the marketplace you're a trickster. Yes. And they believe that small business people are tricksters and frauds. And they don't want to do business with you. Not because you're black, but because the perception of some people is bad. Like you say, I'm saying, yes, you might have a product and you put the price and somebody might undercut you, somebody might go and get the jeans cheaper, whatever it is. Whatever you're saying, it might be possible. But at the end of the day, you gotta know what your price of the product is, what your market says, and you need to be able to stick by that.
Oh, you gonna sell something knockoff price?
I don't know. You saying that to me, I don't know. You know, people is can't tell you, they come with you and tell you, I need you to do this for me, and you know, man, stay here. Mala, I can't price you. I hate that. Because I know you're going to be in beer trouble now.
Anything you charge.
I know you're going to be beer trouble.
So give me a price.
Yeah, that's another one. He come by house, he done it. Master, listen, Mala, give me a price.
I can get it.
Give you a price? Give you a price? I mean, seriously speaking, you know, we still doing this in 2019. And then sometimes we give a price, and then as I said, the price is variable. It starts to fluctuate. Outside hot today, so that's a hot, you know, you outside real hot today, yeah. And then you go up this thing, I expect to sweat so much, you know, it's all variation in price. And then you ask why people come into you and want to negotiate. We want to know why people always come into me and want to cut a deal. But maybe you cut a deal with a friend before, that person will tell the friend. When you go down there, you could always negotiate with him. Because I went there, it was $100. I tell you, like, I got $80 for you, yeah? And you take it. Now you really think that man can keep it at $80 and only walk out there and don't tell somebody else? Of course he will. So you want to know why everybody can, they ask you for same price. When you go up 100. And the next thing is this, when you give a discount, you should state it on the invoice. It should clearly state the discounted price so that people know that it was a discounted price and they don't come back expecting to get this price. Because that's what they will do. 6 months later, they come at you 6 months, they say, but last time I gave it for this price, how come you gone up? And you saying, but you can't remember the discount? No, I can't remember the discount. You never give me the discount, seriously. And they broke the bill. What part of this bill said that I get a discount price? You need to be aware of these things. But we're back to social media, and I'm saying, so far, most of these things are basically free. I believe eventually you'll pay for them. I believe you will pay for them eventually. But now that they're free, I said take hold of them. So you can use them to advertise new products and new services that you have to offer. Put your times, business times, operating times, whatever. Look, if you don't know how to use them, you got children? Huh? Go home from this evening and make your first, if it's only your one, this is your time now to employ your first employee. Hire your child as your social media manager. And ask them to manage your social media for you. All I need you to do is to check behind them that they ain't putting up porn.
Yep.
Because you never know what you might get. You might all of a sudden see a surge in your hits. So just go on sometimes and make sure that they ain't putting up neither they should put up. And ask them to teach you, or ask them to show you, or ask them to manage it for you. That's your first appointment. It's a family business now. I am serious. They don't mind. And they know how to manipulate these things. It's amazing. At 3 years old now, they know how to get onto YouTube. They can't read, can't spell, but they know how to go onto YouTube and all kind of things. By 5, they're geniuses at these things. The other thing you can use social media is like meetings. If you have meetings, you can Skype now. So you don't need to use, you know, to drive from one place to the next or catch bus that going up. Bus fare. You can now Skype the individual and Skype, just go to meeting. You can use WhatsApp video and you can talk to an individual while they're even overseas. Huh? Right, somebody said that, excuse me, somebody did say that in the session did last week that there's no WhatsApp for business. that provides you with a suite of services that will be beneficial for you even when it comes to replying. It can reply to you and send scripted responses. So again, WhatsApp business. Write it down somewhere. When you leave in here, go and find out where it is. And guess what? It's my price. It's free.
And you can play all you ratings and
all of these things.
If you obey it, it can send a reply for you.
You can do it? You can add it 3 or 4 to video calling. Wait, you all listen to this information. There's some good information being shared in here that you all need to pay attention to, you know. Video calling now, you can add 2 or 3 people. All these are things that can add, broaden your scope. Listen, Instagram is so sweet. You make things, you go on Instagram and show the people how they're being made. Huh?
You have to have
That's true. You have to, when you're doing Instagram video, you need a proper phone. Because obviously you want the video to look, you don't want me mixing something and everything look green. So yes, you need it. But most people got proper phones in Barbados. I mean, most people got 3 or 4 phones. So, I mean, but again, you can go and you can again show people how this is being done. Some of the products and services in this room can be sold internationally. Some of them can be sold internationally. Please don't limit yourself only to Barbados. The market is too small. Some of you have products and services that can go outside of Barbados and make money for you. This allows you the platform to get there. Yes, ma'am.
I've had requests from people in the region and overseas, but my problem is finding reasonable shipping. I don't know if anybody has any companies that you use to ship their stuff overseas.
It don't seem so, man. Shipping. No, she's asking if you know any shippers that. Shippers. She's looking for a shipper to ship things overseas at a reasonable cost.
That's the thing. Average Japanese people probably best bet.
Who's that? Who? Premium?
Premier shipping.
Excuse me. Somebody here is saying Premier Shipping. Somebody said AmeriJet.
AmeriJet is direct. They're going to be the plane. You go straight to the plane.
AmeriJet and those places you can call. Give me number. Wait. You got. Wait. Stop. The number for this is for Premier. Premier. The number for Premier is 228-2424. Thank you very much.
Exporting? Exporting.
Yeah, for exporting, yes. Thank you. See, that's how information is shared. That's why networks are important. We gotta build networks, though. Because we build networks, we have a greater leverage. We can get things cheaper. They're half the cost? But, okay, thanks. Listen, I'm serious though. The social media part, please, for those who are not using it, get on board now that it's free. Or not as costly as it will be in about another few years. When they put Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp on one platform, and Mark Zuckerberg recognized that he needs to make some money, then you're going to receive her fees going to increase. Huh? You want to meet her? All right, I'll tell her. Tell her. All right, let's look at providing winning service. 3 tips for providing winning service to customers. 1, giving the customer what they really want. How do we know what the customer really wants? We ask them. How many person in here does surveys? 1, 3 people, and the rest of y'all do what? Assume? You ask them, how many customers you will ask on average? 1? My thing is this, how do you know what your customers really want from you if you don't ask them? I'm saying you can ask word of mouth, But a survey is also, and again, remember social media we talked about? You can do a short survey and send it out on WhatsApp. Not a lot of questions, 3 or 4 questions. Pardon?
You can do polls on Instagram.
Okay, and again, you can do polls on Instagram. You need that information in order to help you to improve. Yes, you were telling me.
So I was thinking that once you set up your business plan, then you have to do a survey in order to complete that.
That's it, and everybody, the unfortunate is everybody doesn't have a business plan. That's the unfortunate part.
Very expensive.
You can't?
Yeah, banks are requiring that you show the business side.
Seriously?
Yes. That was my
Not First Caribbean. Not First Caribbean.
And a lot more.
Yeah.
Banks? I didn't realize. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you want to provide business service, excuse me, if you want to provide business service, you got to find out what the customer really want, because you want to meet their need and exceed their need. So what is it that they want? So you can ask them, you can do surveys, you can do questionnaires, you can do a poll on Instagram, but get that information. And especially if you offer after sales, something that needs after sales service, very, very important. Because the sale does not stop with the transaction of money if there's after sales involved. So some of you ladies that do hair and beauty products, it would be nice to find out what the customer thought about it. The next is, excuse me, when they want it is important. When the customer wants it is important. Now here's the point. If I am the customer and I want it at a particular time, and we've agreed to that time, and you, the service provider, can no longer provide at that particular time, what should you, the service provider, do?
Tell them as soon as possible.
You should contact the customer. When? As soon as possible.
As soon as you realize you can't do it.
Thank you. I like this answer. As soon as you recognize that you cannot do it. I don't like as soon as possible. As soon as possible, that's like 30 minutes before I call them. As soon as you realize you cannot meet the customer's requirement, you should let them know.
Because I was going to ask, if you own a small business and you do delivery, and you got somebody that do deliveries for work, you tell somebody, well, you, as you making the order, all right, I can get the item for you at 1 o'clock. And then you delivery man, you don't pass on the information to you. Coming, so I could carry this thing to this body at 2 o'clock, so you go here, there, and everywhere before you get it. That's be another problem, you know.
But that problem is yours. That's yours, because you fail to communicate to 2 people. You fail to and you fail to communicate to the customer on the phone, and you fail to communicate to one of your suppliers, because he's supplying a service to you. So therefore, the onus is on you. And we laugh when we watch TV. Most people travel, most people watch TV, and you see Domino's pizza will say, if they're doing deliver by a certain time, you get to keep the pizza. I'm waiting for Barbados to start doing our things, though. Because you pay a lot of you pay a lot of money in Barbados to get food delivered. You pay a lot of money, and you pay a lot of money to get delivered, and then you get in it cold, and then you get cold. And you pay them all that money to get it. Next is this, you allow people to call in orders, and when they call in the order and they get there, then they go away. So what's the advantage of calling in the order if when they get there, they still go away? And then when they come wrong, and the point is, so wait, I call it in, I ordered it, I get there, I have to wait, and then it's wrong? And it called too? Whoa.
And a few chips missing.
And a few chips missing? Wait, you mean you count the chips now? Wait, you just count the chips now? You're counting the chips now, that's amazing. So tell me, how much a full portion of chips should be? How much chips should be a full portion?
Some should be dropping out.
Some should be dropping out. See, so our customers, there you go. I want you don't sell food.
Me?
Yeah. Because then many people come to you and want chips outside the bag.
Yeah, I'm a generous person though.
Okay. All right, and then the way the customer wants it is important as well. Now, somebody was talking about that earlier. This is important. Sometimes I might come to you with a request. But you as a service provider, because you've been there for a long time, you recognize that the way you want it can't work. What should you do? Now, I got the request and I come to you, but you recognize from your years of experience that what I want can't work. What should you do?
Educate you why it can't work.
Educate me why it shouldn't work. Okay. Okay. But I still insist I want it.
First, it's not before that you could help me that even though it's waiting to service so that I could know or look about whatever way is a point of the way you want it.
Okay. I see. But I still want it. I say still want it. Sign your what?
That stating that if what else that happen, if it fall true.
Say it loud enough.
It was saying a waiver stating that if it fall true and you have problems, you cause me to back out.
I think that's advisable. But let's just say it's a hairdressing thing. I see the hairstyle. I like it. It look good in paper. And it look good, but you know, and they ask for it. You send me somebody you know you get no brilliant. I like that one. That can work.
Yeah, but if it's a situation that can work.
All right. I want you to say it loud enough. Say it loud. And there are just some jobs that you need to pass up on. Because your reputation is far more valuable than that job. And your reputation will live longer than that job. And there are some jobs that the way the customer wants it will not redound to your success. But some people will say, I need the money, so you may do it. Now this is what happens though. After you've done it, the customer then, somebody comes and sees it, and the first thing they say is, you did it. They don't remember that they insisted that it was done. And you know what people will say, but you let somebody come and do this for you like this though? And then, you know, we don't always be honest enough to go and say, well, I insisted.
They don't want that, yeah.
I want that, Now, I said, but no, I mean, actually, that was never my intention. I don't know what he did.
You know how it is, you know.
You know how it is with these people.
So I had a customer and they wanted me to do a service. So they came, their first attitude, I didn't say about the thing, they say that they were upset with something. So they're saying this is what money they have, regardless of my pricing. And alright, so they come with this money, they know that the money they had could not facilitate what they wanted done. But they said this way God and this way I want you to use this money to do this. I'm like, but it cannot do what you want done. Oh, just do what you can afford. I say, well no. Because when you leave this business now and you go outside and you say, this is what she did to me. I can't have my reputation tarnished because you don't have enough funds to fulfill the necessary thing. So what you just can't do is because it's my business name that I get ruined. You can go sing and tell some person, you're not going to say to the person, you didn't have enough money. You're going to say to them, this is what I did. I say we can do two things. We can either reschedule so you can afford the watching, or you can have like a promissory note that you bring back whatever or however. At first, when I first talking, she was angry, but then when they came, no, I said, look, at the end of the day, this is a business that I am running. It's my reputation, it's the name of the business. If I do half of the job, it means that I'm doing half of my business name. I can't have that out there. I can't have you saying, well, I do a sloppy work. So she came down with me, for some money appeared. Money appeared at the end of all of that. She paid.
You mean same thing?
Yes. So she came with this money, are you getting the attitude? They try to talk and things, but then at the end of everything, she paid.
So she had the money then?
So she had the money, but it was just...
She didn't want to pay at first? It happens, unfortunately. It happens, unfortunately. Now, I'm going to close here with Pardon? Yeah, but she had the money for the full thing, so it's something wasn't fair in there. Wasn't a fair exchange at all. Wasn't a fair exchange. I guess she probably felt that she would have grabbed at the money at the half. So she probably was just seeing what would happen if she can grab at the half and she can get away with it.
Just trying to squeeze people out. She does it all the time. Going to supermarket, she put on X amount of items.
And the people pay for them?
They haven't been. She's there. I don't know. You're out to sea.
Well.
But then they run me so around that I say, I don't know if it's because you maybe put me through all of that. To say, but then at the end of the day, to still have the money to do it or whatever. If you know that you're decision, so it will just.
All right, now in closing, I can show you this a short clip with a grocery store in England that offers great service, and they give a technique for offering service which they call sat-nav, and then also they give another technique when it comes to when you make mistakes, what's called service recovery. Some of the tips that you can use in order to recover the situation after a mistake has been made, because look, nobody's perfect and mistakes are made. What you do after the mistake has been made is very, very important. What you do to recover from the mistake is very important. And that is something that everybody needs to understand, that even when a mistake is made, you can still keep the customer. But it's what you do after. How you treat to the customer's issue is important. What solution you offer. Because not every solution is what the customer wants. There's some solutions you offer that the customer don't want. If I want back my money, telling me come back and get a free hairdo is not going to help. I want my money back. You understand? You understand? And there's some instances when a person may only want an apology. And if you refuse to apologize, and you give the person whatever back, they're still ain't coming back, because up to now you haven't said you're sorry. And there's some people who are very, very strict on apologies. They just want to hear you say you're sorry. So, have a view.
Customer service is the most important thing we do here at Talent Limited. It is the biggest thing that will drive our purpose, which is service, quality and value. The service one is absolutely key to making us win against the other competitors. So we really want you to be able to embrace the best way to perform customer service. To do that, we've tried to make two different, simple analogies for you to be able to remember to put into play when you're at work. Sat-nav. Sat stands for smile, ask, thank. Every customer deserves all three of these. Hello there. Smile. Every customer deserves a smile at the beginning of every interaction, inside or outside the store. Certainly, of course, yes. If you'd like to follow me. Now it's just to the right here. There we are. Is that all right for you? Ask. Every customer should be asked.
It says, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So, my advice to you is to go there and make people feel valued, respected. Create positive, memorable experiences for them, and that will improve your level of service, and it will keep customers coming back to you over and over again. So I thank you very much. Thank you for your participation.
Yeah, hello.
Thank you for your participation. And please, don't let the information just fall on deaf ears. Go put it into practice and see what happens. Now I pass out an evaluation sheet that I want you to complete for me. So once you've completed the evaluation sheet, you can pass it back to me. You're free to go. My name is Shawn Callender. You spell Shawn however. It's really S-H-A-W-N, but however. So thank you once again and have a good afternoon.
Thank you.